Confirmed squads for Super Rugby Americas. The tournament of the southern region of our continent is coming, bringing together teams from different areas. With 4 teams from Argentina, the only country with more than one representative in the tournament, we're about to see possibly one of the most evenly matched tournaments in recent years. We have 8 franchises this time, as we said, 4 from our country. Who will be the champion this year? Will Pampas Why Not manage to win their first title, which has been eluding them since the tournament began? My name is Lucas Micheli, and I'm already greeting Brian Medina and Felix Maldonado. First, I'll greet you, Felix, my friend. So you can tell me a bit about who your pick is and who you think will actually win this Super Rugby Americas.
Hi, Lucas. Hi, Brian. Well, as for my pick, I could tell you too. Clearly, Dogos is always there in the fight, in the competition. We already know they had a staff change and a couple of player moves, but they're always there, right? Still, I'm going to put my bet on Capybara. It's a new team, but I think they could also be the surprise team, if you will. We already know that the first year is tough for every team, but I have faith in them and I feel they could be the surprise of this tournament.
Well, strong. So let's see who can take that surprise we've been talking about. Let's see. Surprise. I think we can already talk about teams that maybe didn't really train, or like we said, maybe Capybara, who wasn't yet in the tournament that's about to start. Now, I'll go to you, Brian, so you can tell me a bit about this, right? Who do you think is coming into this tournament in the best shape? Who strengthened their team the most? Because there was a lot of movement within the franchises. Among players who went to European rugby, for example, some players returned from other divisions and even from other countries and continents who are coming to the tournament.
Hello, Lucas. Hello, Felix. Yes, the truth is that a new tournament is going to take place, a new edition. Let's remember the strong presence that the Tucumán team had last year. Well, they're going to be there and you can bet on them, maybe not as the top favorite, but as a revelation. Tarukas could be considered one of those teams that might flatten out because they're starting to heat up. After that, the favorites are the same as always. Well, Peñarol, the last champion, Pampas, who always tries to fight for the tournament and make it to the final round. But let's see how this new Super Rugby Americas actually unfolds, where there are 4 teams from Argentina and they're waiting there. And well, this new team, Capybara, we'll see, because every team's debut always gives people something to talk about. Last year, Tarukas did very well. Capybara. Well, in this case, Felix considers them one of the contenders, you could say, but we have to see how this new franchise fits into Super Rugby.
Yes, let's see. Obviously, if Capybara were to reach the semifinals, it would be a huge surprise. Felix actually lists them as one of the revelations. That's just his personal opinion. For me, the favorite has to be Pampas. This year, they have everything going for them. I don't know if I see Capybara in their debut year making it that far. It's very difficult. It's a very demanding tournament. Now let's get to that. Felix, specifically, I have 2 noted down who I think are going to make a strong statement. What do you say? Should we include Tarukas, for example, with Lizaldi's addition? It's a very good squad. Tucumán is a very tough field. It's a place where people really love rugby with a lot of passion, so they can be strong there in the northern region. And me, we have to talk about Yakare and Cobras, who have that association with South African rugby. Spengham's theory comes directly from Rugby Sevens. There's something very strong and distinctive there, and I think it adds a bit more spice to this Super Rugby Americas. And little by little, it's becoming a really interesting tournament, and it's not just a development tournament anymore, but it's starting to be an ultra competitive tournament. Felix?
Yes, we already know it's a very competitive tournament. But now with the inclusion of 6 South Africans in the case of Cobras, is it going to make people talk as well? No, nobody mentioned it, but I think it's going to be something different to see in the tournament. It's not like we talked about before, not because of their physical build. They have a different way of seeing and living rugby, so I think it could be something important, interesting to see in the competition.
The question, Brian, is since Felix brought up the title, right? Capybara's at least a minimal candidate for revelation. How does a debuting team become strong in this competition, and how much can being the home team help a newcomer in this tournament?
Yes, being the home team is extremely important, especially for this team from the Argentine coast, where, well, they will try to make the most of their home advantage in that area. In what is precisely this new Capybaras franchise, which, well, will have young players, new ones, and some with experience, that team can give them an extra edge when facing matches, especially when playing at home. As Boki said, they'll have to show their strength in that style. We'll see how Capybaras do in their debut in the tournament and how they manage to move forward. In this new edition of the Super Rapido American, there will now be 8 teams playing in 54 matches.
Everything is set for this Super Rapido to be the best since the creation of this tournament in the south of our continent. We have a Peñarol team that comes in as the champion and is so far the best in the history of the tournament. Of course, we have a Pampas team that will be looking for their first win. A Dogos team that, through a renewal, is looking to reach the semifinals and get back into the hunt for the tournament. A Zagran team that arrives, in my opinion, at the best moment in its history, in its short history, like the rest of the teams, including Jojo Fernandez, for example, brought in from Europe, as we mentioned, a Jacare team that has had a lot of staff changes. I think this year is going to be more about transition and rethinking things for the next season. And a Cobras team that's coming in strong, along with this semi partnership that Brazilian rugby has with South African rugby. The player theory, at least from a media perspective, it's going to shake things up a lot for them and will surely bring a lot of money into their coffers. A Brazilian team, which is extremely necessary here in South America. Please leave a comment. Who do you think will win and who will be the surprise team? Felix said Capybara will be the surprise and believes they have what it takes. Why not surprise everyone and reach the tournament's hypothetical final? My name is Lucas Micheli, Brian Medina, and Felix Mayer. I don't remember. Follow us, give us a like, because we are the only outlet that broadcasts all the Pumas matches throughout the year, and we will also cover Super Rugby. So you can watch it directly from your home, and so you can join us throughout the year.